why do they make Skittles individual flavored? Because everyone eats them as a cluster. So just make it Skittles flavor, not like random flavors, right? But that happening, hand on a Bible, I open up this bag of Skittles, pour out a handful of Skittles, and I look down, and then there's a brand new, off the ring house key in my bag of Skittles. Explain that to
No.
me.
Hey, welcome back to the Stories on Tape podcast. I'm your host, Josh Robinson, and today's storyteller, very excited for you to meet. He has been tattooing for almost 20 years, is an artist in many different ways, and I'm very excited to dive into that. And he describes what he does as storytelling. His stories are just a little more permanent. It is Chipper Harbin. Chipper, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, bud. Hey, Josh.
I am so excited to chat with you. After my episode with Jennifer Edge came out, you reached out and said, hey, if you're ever looking for more creative people, would love to join. And I said, yes, absolutely. Let's do this. So before we get into all the stories, do you have a story you can share with us that might tell us a little bit about who Chipper is if we have never met you before?
Yeah. If I could give a quick summary of my life.
Please.
So I have been making visual arts my whole entire life. I can't remember a time as a small child just drawing what my parents were watching on television or drawing what I saw. I jumped on a skateboard in the 5th grade, and it was just skateboarding, which obviously the visual arts that go along with that, the expression, the creative outlet. That transitioned into punk rock music and traveling and touring in punk rock bands, and which in turn put me in a place to tour, tattooing with a lot of different rock bands and things of that nature. So my whole world has been that punk rock, skateboarding, outer culture or subculture kind of thing. What tattooing has always ran hand in hand with. So it's always been in my peripheral as a child, middle school, high school, college, growing up. It was something that was always kind of there. And I honestly was looking to tattoo for a living. It actually fell in my lap. I was playing music and traveling and doing all of that. And it's hard to go to your manufacturing job and say, I need 150 days off work this year because the band's really popping off,
Sure.
So tattooing quickly becomes the supplement to the both. And I balancing those over the years, I realized, I'm a visual artist far more than I'm a hack musician. Here's how it works. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and this no shade in Charlotte, but this is a funny example. The North Carolina, Charlotte, Statesville, where I'm from, North Carolina area, I would be recognized and in some cases maybe respected as a tattooer that plays music. I live in Nashville, Tennessee now, so I am a tattooer that owns instruments. It's a strong difference in the skill level. I'm not. I can respect the musicians that are in my neighborhood. They don't need to hear me banging away in the garage, So I found my voice, which is a joke. Early, I found tattooing from getting tattooing. I was designing all of my own work, juggling, doing playbills and poster art and album art and all of that world that comes on with the graphic design stuff with skateboarding and punk rock and music and all of that. I really kind of found a niche in designing tattoos and then doing my own tattoo work, which then opened up, or design. And then that opened up the idea to friends and those in the community and around that were interested in my art, and just that ball got to rolling, and here we are 18 years later.
That's incredible. I love, one of my favorite things about this podcast is finding out how people have become the person they are right now. And that is so cool. I love the distinction of a tattoo artist who plays music versus one who just owns instruments. I think that's so funny, Chipper. Yeah. I love that. I want to stick with skateboarding for just a second. Sure. I remember when I was probably 6, I got what I called a scooter. It was a skateboard with just handlebars, and I assume kids get that in hopes to learn how to skateboard. Yeah. I never got further. I never got not having handlebars. I always had to have them. How did you get into that? And is that still something you try to do from time to time?
Well, I started without handlebars. So
probably a few more falls.
That might have helped. Yeah. I think I think I started when I was young enough to not be afraid. Mm-hmm. I started when I was in the headspace and had such a desire to be cool and to belong to something. And I remember the day Brian Harrelson and Keith Coleman they were in the 8th grade, so they were the tastemakers of the community, right? I was in the 5th grade. And me and my
Okay.
buddy Bo Yon were trying to learn these like freestyle bike tricks. This is mid 80s, early 80s or mid 80s. And they rode by and we're like, yo, bikes are out, skateboards are where it's at. And we were like, well, if I want to be cool, then the skateboard's got to be. And I mean, it's still to this day, I'm 48 years old, and to me, there's still nothing cooler than a skateboard and someone nailing a skateboard trick. But I got on it. I brought up the age thing because I didn't fully have the sense of like, oh, you're going to get hurt if you really try and do this. There's no if I get hurt. So when you get hurt, which is a line of life and understanding of commitment, determination, passion, focus, effort, on and on and on, and the expression. And when it hits, oh man, it feels so good. So yeah, I started then. Early years, probably a lot of just riding around, trying to feel cool, trying to look cool. I mean, that part. I started actively trying to apply myself in my early teens and in high school years and things of that nature. When I started playing music, it became less. This is funny. It became not the number one priority of my life, but maybe the number 2 or the 1.5. You know, something. It was always there and it was always around. But I was like, well, I play the guitar now. I play bass actually, so I don't want to hurt my wrist for music.
Sure.
And and chicks like dudes with guitars, not chicks with or dudes with skateboards. They might like chicks with skateboards, but in my case, guys with skateboards, right? Which is hilarious because I'm playing punk rock music in punk rock clubs and and skate parks. There's no girls anywhere. So what am I doing, right? So who am I showing off for? So that evolution has continued into playing music and starting to be aware of, well, I got to be careful. Can't hurt myself, into now I tattoo. I make my living with my wrist, so I have to really be careful with that. But I still skate. I try to skate once a week if I can. Cruise around. There's a couple of transition parks here in Nashville that I can ride around or just cruise around. My wife, she's decided in her early 40s that she wants to learn to skate. So I'm working with her on teaching her how to just cruise around. It's just fun. Yeah. There's a skateboard in my truck right now, man. So it's in my soul.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. Cool. That's so cool. How's she doing?
Well, this leads into I mean, she's doing great, but the last year she broke her foot learning, and we weren't aware of the severity of how, because she fell, hurt. We skated a little bit longer because it's part of it. You get hurt. We just talked about it. It's part of what you do. You knock the dust off. Let's get it going. Whatever. Probably not the best idea. She's got. I say broke. She hurt her foot severely, and it still aches and pains. A year and a half later. So, but she still has the desire to get on it and keep trying and keep going. So that's part of it, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, well, fingers crossed, everything heals, and then we'll see her cruising around Nashville soon.
By the way, I
love
like
that.
The Keith Haring art in the background.
Thank you. That was a Christmas present from my mother-in-law. We have 2 more. They're Legos. We have 2 more to build that are just still sitting in the box. But yes, they have been a fun little addition.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. And where in Nashville are you?
I'm an East Sider, so I'm on the East Side.
Okay.
Do you know much about Nashville?
I grew up in Memphis, so I visited Nashville and have tons of friends that are there. So
in Memphis, you got a gun in your pocket right now.
Thankfully, no. I say Memphis. I grew up in Collierville. Okay. But most people don't know what that means.
So I am in East Nashville. I work in I have a private studio at East Tattoo Collective, and we're over on the east side of town, close to Grimey's Records. There's a little hot spot right here in our parking lot. There's a Tiger Bar, Grant's Bar, Fox Bar, Nicoletto's, Elegy Coffee. Oh man, this is Lucky Star Vintage. Lady does some really cool vintage clothing store, and then there's a burrito.
Cool.
If you're ever in Nashville, the best burrito in Nashville is at Guacamole food truck just at the corner. So we have a little community. It's cool. But I've been tattooing here at the Collective for going on 7 years. I've been in Nashville since 2013.
Okay. This brings me to, I'm very interested to get a little more detail. I was reading a couple interviews you've done, and you told this person that you had tattooed, you do watercolor, so it's very vibrant, very kind of like, it's very eye-catching, and I love your art, and we're going to get into that too. But you gave, or you did 2 tattoos for some yoga instructors, and that's kind of like really what took you kind of to the next level in Nashville?
Yeah. So, well, it's what put me onto Nashville.
Okay.
So you brought up Colliersville to Memphis. I'm from Statesville,
Yes.
North Carolina, which is Statesville is suburban Charlotte by about 35 minutes to the north.
Okay.
I started out my career, I started playing music and all of that, but then also tattooing. But this, I'll take you back. Tarantino, the story. We'll start at the end and go to the beginning.
Perfect.
The idea here, though, is I had always had a familiarity with Nashville from traveling. I mean, if you're in the Charlotte area, I would literally jump in the van at noon on a Friday afternoon, and we would get as far north, south, east, or west as we could to play Friday night, say DC, Atlanta, Myrtle Beach, Chattanooga, whatever, and then Saturday in, and then Sunday in, and then Monday back to work and do it all over again Friday. Every now and then we would get the clip as far into Nashville back in, or if we would do summer and spring or summer and winter tours, Nashville is going to be an obvious spot going west. So I was familiar with Nashville from me playing music over the years. I was familiar with Nashville when I started tattooing and started jumping on the bus with much sizable bands than I was in, tattooing out of the either dressing room or the back lounge of the tour bus. Nashville is going to be an obvious stop for where I was coming in the southeast. You know, you got DC, Nashville, Charlotte, Atlanta, Jacksonville, kind of Memphis, kind of an obvious A market, B market, C market. That's boring. But I was familiar with Nashville because of my rock and roll homies. I did a guest spot at a studio here in town that I ultimately was offered a job a while later and came and worked. But when I was in that guest spot, we really hit it off. I was offered to come and work. It felt right because I was looking for an art energy. And again, no shade on Charlotte. I love Charlotte. I love my homies in Charlotte. But Charlotte's not the identity of Charlotte would not be a creative city. It's just so suburban Charlotte is way not a creative city. You with me? Mm-hmm. So I was making art with the real passion for making art, not just I don't even think of just tattoos. Just I want to make art. I don't. Mm-hmm. When I introduce myself in public, I don't even introduce myself as Chipper the tattooer. I'm an artist. We can talk about paintings. We can talk about illustrations. We can talk about design. We can talk about interior design. We can talk about music. And tattoos are going to be a part of that. But that's my heart space has been that. It's really hard to have that kind of art core in an environment that doesn't really embrace that. And keep in mind, we're talking art passion. We're not even talking technical skill set because there's guys that can tattoo circles around me. It's the passion and the desire and the art to hone in on the thing that I do. And I was offered this gig at this shop, really only knowing music with Nashville. This lady came in looking for a watercolor style tattoo. I never even heard the word watercolor. This is 13 years ago, really almost 14 years ago. And everyone at the studio was style specific, with the large scale black and gray guy, the traditional guy, the lettering guy, and I was looking for my voice, which was modern work. And I overheard this conversation, and I don't know if it was arrogance or if it was confidence or just trying to establish a clientele. I'm moving to a different state, different city. But I spoke up. I was like, I've done a couple of those tattoos. Now that's a professional understanding of I've done a couple. That sounds better than I've done 2 of those, Right. So anyway, some of it is not a fake it till you make it, but you see what can be accomplished and you set out to set that goal. Just a short time later, her roommate came and got tattooed, completely unbeknownst to me. They were both hot yoga instructors in town. I know nothing about hot yoga, nothing. I still know nothing about these 2 ladies is what I know. But I mean, let's just be honest. I'm not being crass, but these ladies are half naked. I mean, sweating, working out. I mean, it's proper, respectful, in front of hundreds of people a week, if not a day. So just the floodgates of who did that, what's going on, where can I get that style? I've been wanting that, and that time frame, at least here in Nashville, it was kind of rejected as a style. Traditional, or I'm trying to be respectful of my tattoo brothers and sisters, but also tell the truth. Typically in the tattoo industry, if a person can't do it, they want to reject it or say you shouldn't get it done and give you a list of why you shouldn't, rather than just say, hey, that's not for me. That's not my bag. You should go down the street for this, whatever. At that time, that wasn't happening. People were just rejecting it, where I'm embracing it. So it opened a market. And I spent the first maybe year-ish kind of replicating what I was seeing stylistically online. Oh, I see how this is done. I can do this. See how this is done. I got the courage and the confidence to really want to start putting my own patterns and graphic-based elements and things of that nature, not just the overly abstract, flowy floral designs, which are beautiful and fine and I have no problem doing, but I really wanted to start putting some patterns and some graphic edges and some stronger lines and things that give the tattoo longevity, but also they make it more exciting. And it's more of what I do. Falls in line with poster art I was making for my band, other bands, skateboard art. All of those graphic elements come directly from 80s skateboard graphics. Just to let the cat out of the bag there. I'm completely ripping off 80s skateboard graphics and applying that to what I do, which is not fully true, but it's certainly inspiration. So that being said, I got here, I was able to lock into the watercolor thing, started applying the abstract kind of graphic and bold lines and patterns and things of that nature that really kind of is like that pen. It's like, here I am. And man, it was amazing. It still is amazing, but it was for the first several years was just like, this is amazing. People coming from Australia and Singapore and Brazil and Germany and all over the country to get the style that was, if I'm being honest with you, was been popular in Europe for a very, very long time. I just have been hip to European art, just my artistic preference for, I don't know how to say it properly. I like European style art. I like the open expression. There's no like, the rules seem to be less important than the art. So seeing this young lady ask for this style, I've had experiences with two of them and confidence to do it. Got that wave to rolling. When I started applying the patterns and stuff, I really kind of came into like, no, this is what I do. I had some smoke and mirrors, some hype, some top 10 list kind of things or whatever. That what does that mean? Just art. How are you even judging, competing? It's art. That being said, it worked, and we just kind of been chasing that ever since, man. It's been beautiful. Nashville has been really, really open and expecting you to be the artist, which is why I moved here. And it hit, it was almost like a 7-year later overnight success when I moved to Nashville and said, this is what I do. People want it and flock to that. The benefits of that were, tremendous in terms of just feeling creative and expressive. And I'm not sure how much you know about Nashville, but the rumors are very true. It's a creative city. And all of that music that you think about, well, there's the musicians behind the singer, there's the songwriters, there's the lighting guy, there's the sound guys, there's the photography, there's the business managers. All of those people are creative thinking too, and they're all here. So it just made sense for me to embrace Nashville the way that I have, and it's been cool, man.
Absolutely. Growing up, I've become good friends with several people who are now in Nashville, and seeing their communities of people. Because growing up, I knew Nashville as like where the Opryland Hotel is. Yeah. Like that was my main. But now getting older and making those friends, it is so cool to see the communities that are in Nashville and the things they can create and the things they are able to produce. When you think of art, when you want to create something new, I've seen some of your like larger canvases or tattoos or music. Do you start from a feeling, something you heard? Do you just like slap paint up there and see what it does? What is your process?
So are we shifting gears to like the visual arts, not the tattooing? Or
sure. Yeah.
Because the tattooing, typically the idea comes from the client. Typically, the client will say, hey, I'm looking for this owl, this cardinal, this flower of sorts, this whatever the thing that carries a sentiment. And I'll tap into what the sentiment is to build the colors, the background patterns. Are we celebrating? Are we mourning? Are we frustrated? And then the design is shaped by the mood. So that's a collaborative. The client tells me what they want. Thankfully, I've been doing stylistically what I do long enough that they trust me to do the thing. So it's funny, 9.5 times out of 10, an email from a client in reference to a tattoo, there's a form that's filled out, and one of those is reference information. And almost 9.5 out of 10 times, the reference is my art for the tattoo. So I'm plagiarizing myself every day. So, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely a thing.
But they know you can do it,
Yeah.
and that's what
And
matters.
the paint work comes from a other side of the brain. If you come in here, I'm in my studio now. If you're sitting down, you're getting tattooed by me, you're either sitting for a half day or a full day, and we're locked in, and I'm telling your story the best I know how to, with the utmost respect and appreciation and thankfulness, and more often than not, wonder and amazement that you're here allowing me to live this dream. But that starts with what you want, what you're asking for. So I'm spending every day, all day, giving you your story from my
Mhm.
my brain, my voice, my heart space. But it's your story. So I'm storytelling. I'm just telling your story through my creative language. When I get home at night, I would much rather paint than watch television or whatever. So I will put on a record, or I'll whatever, it's 2026 is Spotify sometimes as well, not always records, but I'll put on, whatever, and I'll just start throwing paint around. And some days it'll hit, and within 30 minutes, I'm into something. It might
Mm.
take 30 days and I'm into something, but I'm throwing paint around and playing around. But what I do, my process is I have a painting area, or I have a staging area, a painting area, and a drying area. And I try and keep 3 rotating at all times to keep that flow going, so I don't stop. I use
Mm.
acrylic paint, spray paint, and a lot of just organic materials. So you have to sometimes slow down to let it dry. I don't. You hear how fast I'm talking. That's how fast I don't slow down a lot. So keeping the
Mhm.
3 working is a thing. But it's just that's the magic of the painting, man. Is it might take 3 days, it might take 30 days, it might take a year. I rarely end up with what I thought I was starting with. Almost never, actually. And I always paint with the idea of there. I want there to be enough literal something information to tip you off, but enough open, loose expression that it's what are you seeing? What do you want out of this? And that's cool. I sold a
Mhm.
painting. I sold 2 paintings actually, just before Christmas, and the guy came in and bought both of them, and his interpretation of both paintings could not have been any further than what I saw and what I thought, and not what I intended, because I don't have an intent, but what I saw in the painting was so different. And that was, how cool is that?
Yes.
Apparently I
That
made 4
is
paintings, because the 2 that I saw, then the 2 that he saw, and then there were
yeah.
gifts. So who knows what the people that give them to, what they saw. So that's cool, right?
Mhm.
That's beautiful.
Yes. That is what one of my favorite things about just art in general. I'm a big theater
Hmm.
person, so seeing shows here in New York, I
You're in New
love
York.
going with other people. I am. Yeah, I've been here for almost a year now.
Well, in
Um,
Manhattan.
yeah, in
There's a
Manhattan. Yep.
studio.
And
There's
it
a
has
studio on the
been
Lower East Side called White Rabbit that I work from time to time.
okay. Ah,
Maybe one day
well,
we'll
Chipper, next
hang.
time you're here. Yes, I would love
Yeah.
that. That's what I was gonna say. Next time you're here, let's make that happen. I would love that.
I hijacked the conversation.
Um,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. That is what this is. We're going back and forth. I This is what I love about art is the way you create it and what you're picturing, and then like you said, bringing someone in and they're like, actually, I don't see that at all. I see this, and I think that's what's so cool about the stories that we've lived. I think that's what influences us and how we see things, and it's always so fun to chat with the artist or someone else who has seen the same thing. And that's what I love about the art space, is just hearing how people see things, the stories they've taken away, the impactful moments, because they'll always be different, but they are valid and they make perfect sense. And I think it's just always so special when you get to kind of share those moments with people. Do you have a moment like that that stands out to you, either from a tattoo or a piece of art that you've been able to create?
Oh yeah. Well, the tattoos. The impact of a tattoo
Mm-hmm.
is awesome. And I say this, I know to people that don't fully get it, or fully, maybe people that don't make things for someone else, or they don't,
Mm-hmm.
that switch isn't always clicked on for everyone. But for me, when a person stands up and they see the tattoo for the first time, and there's that instant, like, oh, that 10 seconds of silence is like, you've told me everything without saying anything. What do I need to change? What do I need to add to? What do I need? And people can be people pleasers, and we'll circle back. I'll tell you a funny story about people pleasing. But people can, they're getting a tattoo that's going to last them forever, but they're worried about hurting my feelings. I'm like, what?
Mm.
So that can happen. Or you can see it, and they just, you nailed it. This is it. This is the expression that I wanted. This is exactly what I was thinking. More often than not, and this sounds very braggadocious, and I apologize for that, but I'm thankful that I hear this. More often than not, people will say, "Oh, this is so much better than I ever even thought, even considered it was going to be." So getting to level up someone's idea or level up someone's vision is awesome. But really what's happening is you're leveling up their self-esteem, their confidence. You're helping connectivity with the community. I mean, because we kind of attract our tribe, you know what I mean? And that's kind of ultimately a lot of what tattooing, not fashion, but you attract your tribe and people, and you help people align on all of those ways. The emotional evaluation of like I said, I'm a storyteller in my art. So I'm more often than not, we're lamenting or we're celebrating something with the piece. It's not just oh, well, I like bazooka bubble gum, so we're going to get that. Or I like Starbucks, let's put that logo on us. It's usually a little bit deeper than the surface. So connecting with them on that is important. I've had a lady, man, well, it's been a few years now. And one of the things I like to do, because I work private, is I allow my clients to pick the music. We create a vibe, create atmosphere. I'm not sure if you can't really see around my space other than back wall, but my studio space does not look like a tattoo studio. It's far more painting and a little more contemporary art, modern art in that world, just what I like. But one of the courtesies that I like in diffusing that tattoo broy, you gotta know the lingo, and that's stupid. Oh, that's dumb. That's dumb. Which I think of what I do as painting on skin. I don't even collect I know what I do for a living. I'm not that pretentious. I'm very pretentious, but not that pretentious. And that, like, if I can approach it as a painting on skin and the client feels that they're getting a deeper, more meaningful experience out of it, well, step one's taken care of. But as we get into it, I had a lady though came in, "Hey, what music would you like to listen to?" And her response was, music is an emotional trigger, which we all know is very true in the first place. And it's best if I just don't listen to anything. And the backstory of the tattoo was she had just lost her teenage son, who was, I think he was 15, and found out that he had cancer. And within months, he was gone. I mean, we're talking a miserable situation.
Yeah.
I walked away to get the stencil prepped for the tattoo. When I come back in, she had placed like his baseball hat over here, a 10 by 11 or 8 by 11 photo of him over here. And just my room had became a shrine to her son that she had passed. And we sat there and tattooed for 4.5 hours, and she just bawled her eyes out the whole time. That is what she needed for this experience. So that's what she got. There's been other experiences when we've been celebrating adoptions or celebrating marriages or celebrating divorces or whatever. Just people have been in a celebratory space. So trying to offer the mood. Again, I'm a talker, so you hear. So I try and be very aware of what the client needs in the space and navigate the conversation towards that and their life, their work, their relationships, their marriage, their couple, what the tattoo represents. Maybe they need to talk about that and dig into that, or okay, might just be a quiet day where we get focused. So that's every day presents a unique situation. I will tell you a funny people pleasing story. And if anyone sees this that understands how this works, well, this is not how this works. I had a lady come in from Las Vegas. She emailed me rather than person consultation first up front, about a month ahead of time, wherever it was. She emailed me asking for 5 flowers. And the 5 flowers, no reference, just I want 5 flowers. She sent me a reference that had this really hip kind of style that I was really into, that was these 5 flowers. So I modeled what I designed off of the reference that she sent me. Now I did my own, version of what she sent as inspiration. But when she showed up from Las Vegas to Nashville, Tennessee, she's like, "Oh, those flowers are beautiful, but where's mine?" I was like, "Well, this is what I drew for you." She's like, "No, I wanted 5 flowers." I was like, "Well, yeah, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 flowers." She's like, "No, I wanted a larkspur, a sunflower, a rose, whatever." I was like, "Well, here's your email." And it doesn't say a single thing about any flower other than I want 5 flowers. And then the reference that you sent were 5 flowers. I ran with the assumption of this is something that you wanted similar to these. So this is what I drew. She's like, "Oh, well," she's like, "I really like them. These are cool. I can just go ahead and get these." I was like, "Mama, no. You came from Las Vegas to get this tattoo. Please give me the 20 minutes to draw your 5 flowers for you. Tell me what they are. 20 minutes. I got it back in. No big deal. Give me, please." "Well, no, I really like these though." I was like, listen, you can feel the energy, right? You can feel it. She's like, I like these 5 flowers. I was like, okay, well, I really don't mind taking the time to do what you asked for, what you signed up for, what you waited 2 months for, flew to Nashville to get. I don't mind taking the time. She's like, well, I think I might want these. So I explained to her, and this is true. Everything I design off the body part, off the body positioning, off the angle, off the shape. It just looks
Sure.
better off the asymmetry or the symmetry of the body as opposed to straight up and down. So I let her know this was true for her. This is true for who I tattooed before her. This is true for I'm tattooing this afternoon. Everything goes on the body part, placed at that angle. And I design it that way for if you decide to go bigger one day, if you go below shirt sleeve, most everyone at some point is going to go full sleeve or whatever. You start showing the tattoos. Why am I stopping showing the tattoos? You know, so that's the professional understanding without pushing that. You know, don't be rude. But I let her know, hey, okay, we can do these 5 flowers, but I can also set this up, and this will be designed to where if you want to add to it one day, the 5 flowers that you originally wanted, we can add to it. That way, you can getting what you say you want now, but one day what you realize you actually wanted. You know what I mean? So we worked that out. This was on like a Monday or a Tuesday, I think, bro. I send out an email every Sunday to all of my previous tattoo clients asking how the tattoo's healing up. Hope things are going well. Just a general courtesy for coming and trusting me. It's a big deal, and we're making right
Yeah.
decisions every day. It's a big deal. So just wanting to people know I appreciate that. So I sent this message, and dude, not 2 minutes later, I get an email back from her saying, "Yeah, I got to find some time to come back to Nashville because I want those 5 flowers added to this, whatever." And I'm like, I know that. Yes, I know that. So people pleasing will get you in trouble. I don't know how much a flight from Vegas and hotels and all that's going to cost, but and she did. She came
But
back and
I'm
finished
ready
it.
for you.
Yeah. So what do you do? No,
That's
there's a people
crazy.
pleasing story
Like,
for you.
there it is. That's wild. I have one, two, I have 5 tattoos. One from Jennifer Edge herself, and then a few others just from me and 3 of my best friends all have the same tattoo. They're just 4 triangles in a row, and we just have a different one filled in based on height. I'm the tallest, so my first one is filled in. And so I love hearing why people have gotten tattoos. I'm assuming you have tattoos.
I've got a couple. Yeah.
Do you have one that you love telling the story about? Is there one that kind of like makes people laugh, or you're like, oh, this is one of my favorites?
Well, actually, my favorite tattoo is one of the few on my body that has no meaning or purpose, or
Okay.
no meaning. It has tons of
Yes.
purpose. So yeah, I have both of my arms are completely sleeved with creation based ideas and things, and the understanding is to talk about a higher power, God, or an understanding. My right arm is all things that have been created in that like ethereal, heavenly
Okay.
realm, and then my left arm is all like industrial cityscapes, things of that nature that mankind has come along and we like to claim credit for, but God is certainly building things within us. You know what I mean? Prosperity and progress is the thing.
Yeah.
In my back's tattoo, my chest, they're all different things. My right leg is just totems of patchwork of just random letting buddies tattoo me or getting silly skateboard graphics or apprentices that I've worked with over the years. Their rite of passage, their first tattoo is usually on me. So my right leg is just
Yes.
stuff. My left leg is I got a horrible tattoo done years ago in Los Angeles, and I hated it. And I hated it to the point I rarely wore shorts because I hated it so bad. I got stood up one afternoon, an appointment many years back, and a good buddy of mine got stood up the same day, and we're sitting around just kind of on the back porch of the studio we were working, just licking our wounds, just pouting about not having any work. And I was like, well, I've got an idea. I've got this awful tattoo on my leg. I'd love to get covered up. He's like, let's do it. What's your idea? And so I was thinking these black bars, like black bands wrapping around my leg, thick, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin. He's like, well, dude, you're not like a dark guy. You're a color. You're vibrant. And this is not just my style. This is my personality. It's funny that my nickname is Chipper, and it has been since almost birth because I'm rarely in a bad mood. I'm
Perfect.
always this fast talking. I'm always this loud. I'm always this happy. That's just who I am. So it works. He's like, so you're kind of bright, vibrant. Let's come up with an idea that's better than that. So I was like, well, okay. So anyway, we came up with stripes that are varied in color. Let me see if I can show you.
Yeah.
Can you see
Oh, that's so
stripes?
cool.
So anyway, it's a black thick band with multicolors going this way in varied sizes. And what's awesome is my arms, my chest, my back, my right leg is covered. So it's from 15 feet away, I just look kind of bluish green. But that leg, those bars stand out. So if I'm walking around wearing shorts, I can see people locking into those because they're like, why is he only wearing one sock or something of that nature? And then, oh, I get it. So, and it has zero meaning. It's just, I had an
Mm-hmm.
awful tattoo that I wanted to cover up, and I thought, why not do it fun? And it was
I
that amount of, hey, I got nothing to do today. You've got nothing to do today. Here's something we could do today. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. I got to go to Australia a couple years ago. My husband is a touring stage
Oh,
manager, so
nice.
he's on the road all the time. And so he was in Australia for a little bit. And so I got to go out there. And Bondi Tattoo
Okay.
Studio. Is that what they're called? Yeah. We were there and they were doing a flash sale. Me and another friend went out to see him. And so we both got tattoos there. I got a little dinosaur holding a balloon. And she got a picnic basket. But I've been thinking about my left leg becoming like getting little icons of every place we visit and making them
Yeah.
look like
Yeah.
stamps
Yeah. I
and
do
kind of
that.
like connecting
I
them
do
all
that quite
together.
often.
Oh, really?
Right here.
Okay. So I think that could be fun. We visited several places already, so I've got some like places I can add to it.
Sure.
But that's kind of
That's a
where,
fun.
because I like the idea.
That's a fun thing to do, and to know that you can do it
Mhm.
more and more and more. Whether you get the stamp in the location or you come back with, yeah,
Right.
that's a cool idea
Yeah.
to kind of have.
So
One, it's a motivation to keep traveling, as if you need a motivation to
yes.
go places. But you know,
And Travis, my husband, is a much he's just well traveled in general, but he gets excited about it. It takes me a little while. One thing to know about me, I have the palate of a 6-year-old. So food is always something that I'm a little stressed about going anywhere new for the
well,
first time.
everywhere has chicken nuggets
Um, and for that we are
and
thankful.
fries.
For that we are but yeah, so that's kind of on my brain next of like I think I'm gonna add some tattoos to my left leg and see what fun we can come up
I
with. I
think you
think that
should.
would be really cool.
Hey, I know a guy.
Um, and then going off of people wanting tattoos, what if someone comes in? This is always a question I have. What if someone comes in and they're really wanting something, and in your brain you're just like, that is not gonna work for whatever reason? Do you ever have to have that
Oh yeah.
conversation with someone? What does that look like?
Well, here is the benefit of being a professional tattooer for 18 years.
Uh
Here's
huh.
the real benefit of being style specific for 13 years. Is I only get referenced people wanting me to do what I do. That, well, not
Mm,
always. There will be the occasion where someone's 18-year-old, an 18-year-old kid or 19, whatever, someone young wants to get tattooed, and their aunt, uncle, niece, coworker, whatever, that's the only tattoo reference they have. I've tattooed that person, so then they'll reach out to me without a real like kind of understanding. And please,
sure.
I'm not beyond doing any tattoo I can do. I do the abstract contemporary, what's known as watercolor style tattooing. That's my identity as an artist. But I tattooed for 7 years
Hmm.
before I ever even heard the word. So I have like street shop skills where I walk in, lettering. I mean, this is, I drew that line in the sand. This is what I do. So primarily, this is what I do. So I don't really have to deal with that a whole lot. On
Okay.
occasion, I'll encourage someone to maybe think about it a little bit. Here's a few things I really like to do. That I try and work with someone that I don't take it for what it's worth.
Uh huh.
I'm in the South. Faith is a huge Christian faith is a huge reality to this area, and I pride myself on being a believer and trying to do it the right way. I most often tell people
Hmm.
all the time that, oh, I'm a Christian, and I'm just real bad at it, which might be real good at it. So I don't know. Being honest about it. Either way, that being said, if people come in and they want the standard, I want this cross with this scripture and a banner around it. I'm like, that's just
Mm.
a lowercase t in 2026. So let's be real. It's just a
Uh
lowercase
huh.
t in 2026. So how about if you're looking to extend your faith or share your faith or encourage your faith, why don't we do a circle? Because a circle is a symbol of eternity. There's no weak points. There's no starting. There's no ending. Isn't that God's love? Why don't we use a triangle? Because you know that the triangle is the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Not only are we is that symbolic, but it's also the strongest geometry that there is. Why don't we use the color purple? Because I heard you say that you're a Christian and you're faith forward, which means you're adopted by the King. Color of royalty is purple. So what I try and do is, hey, let's get a little past surface level into some like the meat of what's happening here. And because really what's happening is if you show up at the party with the cross on your arm with Matthew, whatever, 17, 420, whatever, all you're doing is saying, oh man, y'all stay away from Josh. He's going to kill your buzz, is what's happening.
Correct.
If you pop in with the triangle, the circle, the purple, what of that? And you're like, oh, dude, that's rad. Let's talk about that. So don't rule out creativity because you're so concerned, caught up with your faith. We can be creative. That's more of a storytelling or more of the guiding the ship that I do, as opposed to saying you shouldn't get your girlfriend's name on your neck because you're 19. I don't do any of that.
Yeah, I think we should steer clear of getting anyone's name tattooed on us personally. That always feels like it's gonna go wrong.
It's the same thing as saying, hey, this isn't working out. We should see other It's just a much more expensive way of saying it.
And then you have to come up with a creative way to cover it at some point, or you just live with it. And either way, bless. Because I
got an ex-wife with a matching tattoo of mine, and we got to figure out what I can do with it one day. Because
yes,
she's a good lady, but she's not mine anymore. So right.
I grew up going in the Church of Christ, so it's very cool to hear. I love that of going deeper and not just doing the lowercase t or but I think going back to you get that, and then it opens up the conversation to like, what do you take from it? What do you take from it? This is how I see it, and I think that's a really smart way to do it. I love color and tattoos. I think it's fun. Like you, I have a joyful, happy personality. I want people to smile. I want people to feel good. What draws you to putting color in tattoos versus just doing grayscale black and white?
Well, first of all, I've never thought about it. I've never thought about it as in I've never sat down and thought of it. It's just what I've done. When I moved to Nashville, and I know I've made this statement a few times now, but the line drawn in the sand, this is the style that I do. That's why I moved to Nashville, was to be style specific. Like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't even the most technical tattooer in where I'm from. So to move to Nashville when there's 200 tattoo shops in Davidson County, and I mean, it's world class tattooers. I didn't move here thinking, oh, I'm going to take over the world of technical skill set and I'm going to blow people's mind. I'm going to be one of those. Never considered it. Never even thought of that. I very rarely think about other artists or other people's artistry when I'm making my art. I'm here for you to service the client's need. But I moved here to be style specific, and for me to service the client's need means I have to be focused, and people start asking for the color, the watercolor, the color style stuff, contemporary, whatever name, who cares what name you call it. That's just, we're at the record shop and you got to file through the records. You have to have a section to go to, that's all the name is. That being said, the style that I landed on that I really kind of fell in love and felt I had a voice and a purpose in happened to be color. And again, referencing back to my plagiarizing myself over and over again, I'm shown references of color tattoos all of the time. So that's what I do. I have no problem doing black, just all black tattoos, black and grayscale tattoos. Art of any kind. I'm working on two paintings at my house right now that are all just straight black and white, just no color at all in them. So I'm not against it. It's just when you're asked to do something, that's the thing you do. I'm biting my tongue at saying play the hits. But you know what I mean? People see what you did and they like what you do, so they want more of that. How many directors have wanted to do different types of films and be like, oh, why'd you do that? How many songwriters have wanted to stretch their wings, and they're fully allowed to as the artist. It's their art, and people just don't respond. I'm thankful. I'm not quite at that. I'm not in that course of my career yet when I'm bucking the system and I'm doing whatever. I still like doing the color, still like doing what I'm doing,
Yes. If it
It's
ain't
really
broke, don't
fun. If
fix
I'm
it.
being real with you, this is shifting gears, but to be 18 years into my career and I still feel like we're going up. I feel as creative as day one. Um, with a little more confidence is a good thing. Creativity can
Absolutely.
get you there. The confidence to take something from your brain or your heart really and put it out. I feel like I'm in a good rhythm doing that now.
And that, I think finding someone who is passionate and confident in the skills that they have, it comes across so much more in the work that they create. And I think that's then what draws other people is like, oh, I didn't, I wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous. Chipper had my back the whole time. I knew that we weren't going to,
Yeah.
left, right, whatever. It was going to be exactly what I wanted or elevated to
Yeah.
something I didn't even know I wanted.
And that's tricky. That's a tricky line because I don't show my art, my references before the client gets here. I've been stolen from. These are stories that I could tell you in reference to art, but I've been stolen from a couple of times in the professional world of making art and just young and dumb and learning experiences and growing. But I love people and I trust people and I want to always value that until I get stabbed in the back, and that stings, man. It sucks, and it's happened a few times. So I've been like, well, you want to attract a tribe, you want to connect with people that want to connect with you. So when you get tattooed by me, there's a questionnaire form that gives me all the information.
Mm-hmm.
I do my job based on the information that you gave me. You show up. Here's what I've got designed for you. Please understand some of this stencil is going to change. I'm also going to add tons of elements freehand on the skin. I'm not going to let a piece of paper tell me what to do. If we're making art, we're making art and build from that. So there's a level of trust, a lot of trust that my clients put in me. And I realize I'm thankful, and I realize that, these people are coming to get something that's going to be on their body forever. And they
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen it yet. They're just trusting my instincts. They're trusting my heart space. They're trusting my mind. They're trusting my vision. And don't get me wrong, please. There's time built into it to make adjustments, to change some things. And if we need this, almost never happens. But if we need to cancel or reschedule or circle back to it, then let's do that. I mean, I've said it jokingly, but I'm very serious about it. We're making life decisions here. So if it's not
Right.
the right, if it doesn't feel good in the moment, mentally feel good. Obviously, tattoos don't feel good, but if it doesn't feel right and purposeful, we shouldn't be doing it. And I don't
Yes.
need your
Ooh.
money enough to talk you into something. I don't sell tattoos. I make tattoos.
Ooh, I love that, Chipper. That's so
I should
good.
put that on a card, right?
We're gonna put that on a hat for
Yeah,
you. I don't
that's
sell
a
tattoos.
business
I
card.
make
I don't
tattoos.
sell tattoos. They're like, okay, well then why don't I have this?
Speaking of community too, that has become something in the last few years of my life that has been a very big part. Like chosen family, finding those people who are gonna be with you for the long haul. And I think the tattoo community is a place that you can find that. It has been a really interesting thing for me that I never thought I would have a kind of an insider look at, but becoming friends with Jennifer Edge and Mainline Tattoo and then Literary Ink over the last few
Yeah,
years, it's a really special thing. Tell me a little bit about, you've been to Literary
yeah,
Ink,
yeah.
yes? Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how you kind of got connected with Jennifer and that and your experience there.
Okay, so I don't. She could maybe give you a deeper version of this, but I will tell you what I can connect with. I moved to Nashville and was establishing the watercolor style, contemporary art
Mm-hmm.
style. This was 13 years ago, and then, this was 2013. Was that 13 years ago? Yeah, good math.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that math should be easy. It's 2026. But anyway, I moved here with that heart space, or that was my goal, is to be a contemporary modern style tattooer. The watercolor thing, like I mentioned with the hot yoga, just fell in my lap. I was not expecting that. When it happened, I'm like, oh yeah, let's run with this. I really like it, really enjoy it, and felt a purpose. I was the only artist in this area doing that at all. Jennifer, Chattanooga, it's just what, roughly 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
reached out to me about wanting to kind of get a little more established in that style. I don't know the full scoop. I apologize. I don't ask a lot of questions, but I feel like she had just left the studio, and her and Danny were opening. Do
Uh-huh.
you know Danny? Dan Siverter?
I know of him through Jennifer. Yeah.
Danny and I have been buddies since before either one of us tattooed in North Carolina 20 something years
Okay.
ago. So that's a fun. So I'm sure she connected. She got in touch with me through knowing him somehow. But the style,
Mm-hmm.
which you're familiar with, I feel like their entire crew out there does that contemporary style working. Um, and I worked with her a bit on some of the, some of the styling points, some of those elements, and just really kind of trying to make a connection and community. And she's back in Chattanooga and doing the damn thing, and
Yeah,
we're not that
absolutely.
far, and it's been a fun fun back and forth. I actually went and saw the Rolling Stones with her and her lady. Oh gosh, it's been years and years and years ago now, but it was a fun interaction. I happened to just randomly get a call from her asking if I could grab if I knew anyone that needed a ticket. She's like, "You're the biggest
Uh-huh.
Stones fan that I know. Do you know anyone that needs an extra ticket? I know you're going." I was like, "Well, actually, I didn't get a ticket like an idiot,
Can I
but
have
I would
it?
like to grab this." So I got the ticket, and I mean, it was so funny. I was like a teenage boy. I was sitting out by the will call line waiting on someone to bring me my ticket the whole time. Literally walked in, my butt sat down as the lights dropped for the Stones to come on, and I cried like a child. It was amazing. But so yeah, so
Yes.
we have some of those way back experiences. And when she started Literary Inc., I did the first 3 or 4.
Okay.
I thought maybe 2 or 3 of the events, and it's awesome. I don't work a lot of conventions. As a matter of fact, I don't really work any conventions anymore. I either do the um, guest spots at Tattoo Studio. There's a private studio at
Sure.
Los Angeles that I work. There's the studio in New York City that I work, and I'm here in Nashville. And there's a few homies throughout the country that I'll do guest spots at or set up. That's my bag. Or I'll do the tour work with bands. Now that I live here in Nashville, I
Mm,
really don't do that as much anymore because it's just a matter of time till they're going to be here. We'll either figure that out before or
right.
after the shows. I'm married to a absolutely wonderful lady that I love spending time with. So if I'm touring, I'm not with her, and I pay rent to be at this studio in the city. It's not cheap, and I have and ultimately I have a clientele that's here. So my life is here more than conventions or whatever. But that Literary
Hmm.
Ink convention is the best of the best, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is, and again, I feel like this is the third negative thing I've said about the tattoo industry, which I'm sorry, I don't mean that. I love all you tough guys and all you Black Slayer t-shirts. You rule, okay? But let's be real. It sometimes can be a tough guy contest, and how many dudes can you see just sizing you up, just
Hmm.
whatever? That's tattoo conventions. Literary ink is the opposite, and I'm going to say this respectfully. I'm sure I'm still going to offend someone, but that's how life works.
That's
You
their
got
fault.
all
Yeah.
the nerd uh, literary, all the Harry Potter and all of that out of they got all that nerdy kind of cosplay. And I'm saying nerdy. First of all, nerds run the world now, so that's a complimentary word.
Correct.
So anyway, but you have all of that that diffuses the tough guy, aggro, tough guy. Where's my that
Uh-huh.
tattoo guy? It diffuses that and it calms that down a bit. The tattoo stuff, and I'm saying this from my world, the tattoo stuff kind of makes the nerdy stuff kind of a little cooler. You know what I mean? It makes it cool. So there's this
Yes.
rub of like, hey, we don't know your lingo, but we like what you're doing. Hey, we don't know your lingo, but we like what you're doing. And somehow it's kind of working itself out. Jennifer does a great job of making sure that there's plenty of female tattooers. I think that convention might be as many female tattooers as male. But either way, that
Yes.
diffuses the aggro and it makes it a little more inviting for the public, I think. It's much smaller. Chattanooga
Hmm.
is way more fun to spend a weekend in than Chicago. Well, I mean, Chicago's a fun town, but it's just a good vibe.
Getting
It's a good
around
vibe.
and
It's small enough
hmm.
that you can really dig in as a consumer or the artist. You have other things outside of just tattooing or tattoo culture that are there that feeds that. She's a good person. She surrounds herself with good people. So to keep this commercial for Larry going, I think that if you're in the southeast and you want to get a quality tattoo, but you're not sure where to do it, I think you found your place. It's awesome. It's
Abs-
and
absolutely.
I didn't work it last year because I was out of town, and the year before
Okay.
that I had already had bookings here that I couldn't get away from. And
Mm,
I was like, I wonder if I can get these people to just go to Chattanooga to kind of show off a bit. I really I like working off of appointment, and I like having the space and the time to create. I'm a vibe guy. Sight, sound,
mhm.
smell, they all create an atmosphere, and we don't always get that in a convention setting. So I don't. It's not
Right.
something I do. Maybe it's a little lazy. I don't know.
Hey, no, do what makes you happy. Listen, at this point in life, I am all about do what makes you comfortable and happy because it's short and we don't need to stress ourselves out any more than we already
Well,
are.
and
So,
there's a fee to paying into conventions too, and I'm like, well, I'm already paying rent 2 hours up the road. Oh,
right.
and there's three tattoo conventions. There's actually four, but I think there's two of or three that I would consider here in Nashville. But I'm like, I'm
Uh-huh.
already paying rent in Nashville. Why am I going to pay booth rent at a studio or at a convention?
Yes.
The answer is
Mhm.
networking with other tattooers or the visibility and all that. And I'm like, I'm not into all that. I'm not into the word networking, first
Yeah.
of all. Like I've already mentioned, I don't align myself mentally necessarily with the tattoo culture. I mean,
Mhm.
again, I know what I do for a living. I know I get it, and not everyone that's rocking a Black Slayer T-shirt today making a tattoo is an aggro jerk. Most are not. Most are fantastic, wonderful people. I choose to live my life surrounded by musicians and painters and photographers, not other tattooers, because there's a lot of attitude, a lot of opinion, a lot of arrogance and
Mm.
confidence, we'll say, in the tattoo community that I don't care about. That has
Uh,
your opinion, your say, your viewpoint about the art that I'm making for that person has no say in what I'm doing. So if I spend
mhm.
my time with musicians, I spend my time with painters, I spend my time with photographers, things of that nature that keep things ethereal and open and atmospheric and allowing me a place to connect how I want to, that's way more fun. Way more fun. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm
Absolutely.
all of my guitarist friends or drummer friends or painter friends, whatever. There's an arrogance in that world too. But you know what? You're better at the guitar than I am. So brag all you want. That does not step on my toes at all. You're telling me stuff I already know, but it doesn't
Right.
offend me. As to where some
But
guy
I'll
that's
let
telling
you
me how
say
a
it.
tattoo should be. I'm like, wait, what do you mean it should be? I thought we were making art.
Yeah.
I looked at your Instagram this morning and it said blah 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 tattoo artist. You ended it with artist, which means you can do what you want to do.
Uh-huh.
So that's and
Yes.
again, tattooing is respect to the client, but so that's a tricky one when it comes to community and all of that kind of stuff because my community, my tribe, my vibe is not necessarily in that world; it's in this world, you know.
Absolutely.
But
But
anyway,
then, like you said, you attract, like your clients and other people, you attract those people and they vibe with your
yeah, of
community.
course,
And
of
so I
course.
think it works really well. And I think that's so nice to find someone who isn't, sitting in a space with 17 other tattoo artists and you hear all of the needles and there's a niche for everyone
Right.
and I
And
and that's a so
I've
needed.
done that too. You know,
Yeah.
I've I've done it all to have the opinions that I have to get to where I am, where I work
Hmm.
privately, and I work in it's East Tattoo Collective, and it's three tattoo shops in one building, and really that just means we have a sizable lobby and a space that has a room that we all pay rent to be here, and there's no
Hmm.
bosses. The guy in our I'm pointing because he's over there. He's right there. But he's been tattooing 32 years. He's Nashville's longest working tattooer. He's only
Whoa.
52. He just started wicked young, and he's cool. And he's the dude that like I want to be like that guy. You know what I mean? So it's fun.
Right.
It's humbling in here. You know, if my arrogance gets too
That's
thick, I just step 10 steps this way. I'm like, oh, that's right. You're not even the
that
coolest
guy.
guy in this room or in this building.
I love that. You've also mentioned your wife a couple times. I would love to know, how did you guys meet? Is she a tattoo person as well? What is that
Oh, that's
vibe?
one one stone, two birds. There, we met tattooing because she was in fact a tattoo person.
Okay.
She moved here from the DC area. She's actually from
Hmm.
Tampa, Florida, which means she's got a gun in her pocket too. Tampa
Yep.
and Memphis. Put you two together. Oh,
Be a fun
yeah, right.
time. Could be a fun time.
Dangerous time. No, she's a great lady. But we met. She was getting tattooed. Funny enough, she's a songwriter. She writes pop music.
Okay.
She's taken a step back from that and doing more of the professional world, I guess let's say nowadays. Every now and then I'll come home from work and she's got the guitar in her lap and I'm like, yes, some songs are
We're
coming
doing
out,
it.
whatever. She's great, man. She's good with me. She good for me, good to me. We met tattooing years and years and years ago.
Hmm.
My first marriage then was still a thing, and that went sour as they do. Again, great lady. I have two beautiful children that are back in Charlotte that I absolutely adore and live for. Uh,
Uh huh.
but then my wife and I now we got together coming up on it'll be 5 years in March of marriage. That was fairly quick
Okay.
from a couple of years of dating, and just been good. I mean, it's weird to say dating when you're
Yeah.
you're in your 40s, but yeah, we've been at it for a while. She's fantastic. If anything that you happen to see on like my social media that looks classy
Hmm.
or qualified, she did that. You saw me fumble over how to get this set up this morning to communicate. That would be the same thing with me trying to navigate like a reel or like Instagram edits. What's that? So she does. That's she's unbelievably gifted. She's actually probably the most well put together business person and creative person because those typically don't go so great together. You're either really
Right.
good at one or do the other. She's really good at both, and I reap the benefits of that. So she's awesome.
I'm one, jealous of you. Two, if she has any tips, I'll happily take them. Because man, if I could be a little more organized in my
Yeah.
life, it would be great. But we'll get
Yeah.
there. We'll get there. We'll get that's a goal for this year. We'll say we'll be a little more
All right.
organized.
You can teach funny.
Um,
That's her goal for this year.
okay. Well, see, we're on the same
We did
page. This would be yeah.
we did these things at the end of the year where we wrote down 12 things on pieces 12 individual pieces of paper, and
Uh
each
huh.
night we would randomly grab one and burn one and sort of an offering, if you will.
Yeah.
A little woo woo here, but as an offering to for us to God, to you whatever. But to us, it was we're offering these things, and then New Year's Day we open up the last of the 12th, and what that one was is what we were responsible for putting our feet on the ground and making this thing happen. Obviously, this has
Okay.
got its structure, whatever, and it could have been anything like getting a deeper connection with my children, establishing a more secure financial resources, whatever,
Mm.
any all across the board, relational, whatever. But she opened her last one was organization and taking care of some the feng shui, so to speak, of life and the household and some of that. So she could help you with some organizational stuff because she is on a tear right now, brother.
Perfect. Perfect. I get little spurts, and my husband's like, "What's happening right now?" And I'm like, "Please just let me do it. Please let me do whatever I need to do right now
And go
because it will
somewhere
go
else so I
away
can
very
do it.
quickly." Uh huh.
Is
Yes.
he who's messy, you or him?
I would say we both are. I probably am a little more than he is. I'm very bad about like walking in and just like I currently have 3 jackets and a sweatshirt just draped over a chair right here because it's the
Drink
first
over a
place I see to
Peloton.
just exactly that won't ever be used. Yeah, no, it's just like and our kitchen table just has some stuff
Yeah, yeah,
on it. Like nothing
yeah.
crazy. It's not dirty. It's just messy.
I thought
So,
I was an organized, clean dude until she and I got together. I was like, oh, turns out not so much. So
uh-huh. It's a very eye-opening
it's
experience when
humbling.
you're with someone
It's
that's
very
like,
humbling
"What
to
are
be like,
you?"
oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
I do need to be better at these things. And she's right. I do need to be better at these things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, Chipper, do you have any stories that you love to tell just in your life in general? Is there one when you're like with friends or with family that always comes up that kind of makes you laugh or makes you
Oh yeah.
smile?
So these stories have nothing to do with tattoo. I have
Perfect.
a so if you've looked on my Instagram recently, I'm doing this like every month. I'm telling a story that's something that's happened in tattooing. The weirdest tattoo that I've
Okay.
ever done, the most
Yes.
obnoxious tattoo client that I've ever done. All of these random, like I had a guy literally in the middle of a tattoo break away from the tattoo, said he had needed to burn a cigarette, use the bathroom and have a smoke. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, wherever goes by, and I go to look for him. I just randomly go to the bar across the street from the tattoo shop I was working at the time, and he was at the bar drinking with blood just pouring down his arm. So I have all kinds of random tattoo stories that I'm posting on my Instagram once a month to just kind of that sense of engagement. But I have these
Absolutely.
really ridiculous stories that stand out, just lifestyle, just fantastical. Like what? And I'll share one with you, and it's
Please.
unbelievable. So I was in my 20s doing the warehouse job thing because I was traveling with my band and or playing, and you gotta do what you got to do to make money so you can be gone, you
Mhm.
know. Anyway, I'm in this manufacturing plant. Doesn't matter what we're making. I don't know that I even knew at the time. Either way, I'm in the break room of this manufacturing plant, and I can't paint a more boring, lame. I mean, Manila walls. They had the tables facing the walls. Even it was just the worst of the worst
Oh.
environment to work in. I didn't want to be there. It felt like no one there wanted me to be there. Even it was just the worst. And I go to the vending machine on my lunch break, and I push H3 or wherever it is to get my plain bag of potato chips. Really trying to sell the fact that this is very boring, very lame. Plain potato chips in a tan room with the only color in this room would have been the chart of like your urine color to know if you're dehydrated or not in the summertime in a warehouse. So
Sure.
gross. You're with me, right? This unbelievably boring. I'm just sitting there thinking, man, I wish a train would just run through this place right now. Not a train track for miles, but just
Uh-huh.
so terrible. But as I'm sitting there, open up my brand new bag of potato chips, right? And I'm just munching potato chips. Midway through this bag of potato chips, I pull out a brand new, off the ring, never been used before house key. Can't explain it. No understanding. Look at the bag. There's no promotion. There's no like highly dangerous promotional thing going on. There's no like,
Right.
how do you put a metric on it? Because there's no like 1 in a million, because this is not supposed to happen. There's not supposed to be house keys in potato chip bags, period. No idea how to explain that, right? No understanding. Jump. It never thought anything of it. Never thought anything would. I never kept the key. Just, well, that's weird. Why would that happen?
Right.
Weird. Jump. I'm going to guesstimate here, maybe 6 years later, 5 years later, a long time later. I pull into a BP gas station. This is by my house at the time, getting gas. This is years and years ago. So at the time, you had to go in to pay for your gas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm a candy fiend, so I pay for my gas. I'm gonna go ahead and get me a bag of Skittles. Ring the Skittles up, gas. You sit back in the car as the gas is pumping. I'm just sitting in my car, just hanging out, waiting. Open up the bag of Skittles, pour out a bag. Side note: why do they make Skittles individual flavored? Because everyone eats them as a cluster. So just make it Skittles flavor, not like random flavors, right? But that happening, hand on a Bible, I open up this bag of Skittles, pour out a handful of Skittles, and I look down, and then there's a brand new, off the ring house key in my bag of Skittles. Explain that to me.
No.
Explain
No, Chipper.
it. Twice, right?
That's what? Did you ever like call any of the
Who would I call?
companies to be like, hey, what's going on?
Well, I mean, so like the Lay's company, and I think Skittles might be made by the Mars company. They have nothing. They don't even have anything to do with each other. So how does it? First of all, how does a key get off of a key ring to get into the manufacturing bag? How does that happen?
Right.
And how does it happen in two different factories? I'm sure two different places in the country, if not maybe the world. I mean, I don't know.
And then it's also my thought of like, and no one caught it. Like no one there realized like, oh, I'm missing a key. Like,
well, I did.
It just,
I realized.
That's crazy. No. Did you keep that key?
No, the impact of the stories didn't really hit me that strongly until years later, telling the story. I'm like, oh wow, that is very weird. That is some strange stuff. Yeah.
That is, well, I hope whoever missed those keys, I guess, got new ones, or who knows.
Colin got a ride home.
Right.
Or had someone unlock the door when they got
a locksmith. Right. Exactly. Oh, that might be one of my favorite stories that's been told so far on this podcast.
That's one of several, by the way. I have quite a few. I sold a painting to a church in St. Louis, Missouri years back. Mailed it off to them. It never got to them. About 4 years later, I had a buddy of mine in Rock Hill, South Carolina, email me that picture in the headquarters of Hospice. How did it end up in Rock Hill, South Carolina at a hospice when I sent it to a church in St. Louis, Missouri?
The world is weird.
Yeah.
The world. Right? Okay, well, Chipper, I'm going to have you back so we can just hear all of these stories. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
So my last question I'm asking everyone, why do you think storytelling is so important?
Well, I think it adds colors to situations. I think most all things that we're taught in life were started with a story. I mean, let's put aside textbooks and think about before there was school, people were still learning. Well, how are they learning? Through storytelling. Most of our faith understandings are what? Storytelling.
Stories.
We've in any faith from that matter is going to be some sort of historical storytelling. good music, important storytelling. Folk music is telling the same story over it. It's kind of an interesting world of like hip hop music is allowed to sample.
Mm-hmm.
Rock and roll music has to be the utmost original every single time. But you went back to like classic folk, like mountain music, like folk songs.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite was the intent of that music. They were telling stories, the same story, over and over and over again. It was passed down through song, but it was a story of
Yeah.
Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett or whatever Appalachian based thing, or just knowledge, um, entertainment, education. Uh, I like it because I mean I like learning, and that's just how I prefer learning through someone telling me a life story or a life happening as opposed to reading. I don't retain knowledge as much as I would like by reading. So and that's a story, but if I can hear someone audibly tell that story, I think that's it helps me understand and learn a little bit better. I intentionally leave the story open ended with my paintings because I want it to be your story, not mine. I was going to mention this earlier to you that you can see the background, I think, in some of these, but most of my paintings
Yeah.
are very vibrant, and in a lot of cases, very bright, like pinks and like vibrant, bright colors. Almost every one of my paintings are sad. No one is going to buy a sad
Mm.
painting and put that in their living room wall and be like, "Oh, look, this represents Chip's divorce and how he misses his kids." You're not going to do that. But I like pink, I like purple, I like this the way this green and this purple look together, and I see this in this expression. So now you have that story. So that's storytelling for me, and that's important to give you open-ended understanding of the story. The flip side to that, tattooing is of utmost important that I take the story that you've given me and I honor it the best I can with this color. This color represents this pattern represents
Mm-hmm.
this. The bold, strong foreground image is supposed to draw you into this, and that's I like to make tattoos in a way that you don't see every single thing there is about it the first eye shot, because the story continues. So the dot 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 at the end of the
Yeah.
so did
Oh,
that answer the
I
question?
love that. Yes, that is a perfect answer, Chipper. And goes into another reason why I started this podcast is I have a terrible memory as well. If it's not written down, it won't happen. But I love sharing stories and hearing people share their stories. And that was another reason why I wanted to start this, is having people's stories, one, just recorded in general, but they're recorded in your voice.
Yeah,
So, 20 years from now, this is around for grandkids, nieces, nephews, family members, new friends to hear. And so it's been a really special thing. So thank you for sharing your stories
man, I
today.
appreciate it.
Yeah. If we want to follow along with your story and or we want to come get a tattoo, how do we do that? Where do we go?
Well, I have my website is just Chipper Harbin, ChipperHarbin, just my name, chipperharbin.com. Instagram it's the same, Chipper Harbin. I think the word tattoo or tattoos might be at the end of it. You search Chipper Harbin, it's going to pop up. Those are the two main sources. I got some stuff, you know, you can find some stuff on Google searches, and I got some stuff floating around out there in YouTube, and it's one of those tricky things where I say this because I think it's the old man version of social media and wanting to reject anytime there's something new added
Uh-huh.
to it. I'm like, well, I just learned the old thing last week, so there's one of those deals where I reject wanting to even do any of it, and my attitude is always, well, if I don't have enough stuff in 18 years on the internet for you to see to bite to, then it's not going to work anyway. So
Right.
that's not true. I still need to keep up with it. So I'm active on at least Instagram. I've never had a Facebook
Hmm.
account. I've never had a TikTok. I've never done Twitter. I spell like an idiot, so you would never want me to do anything on X or Twitter, whatever it's called. But yeah, just social media would be the Instagram is Chipper Harbin
Instagram.
tattoos, I think, and then chipperharbin.com that has some painting stuff, some written information about my life, what's going on, how to find out more about me, and then obviously the visuals. Uh, yeah,
Perfect.
I mean, come to
Perfect. Well,
Nashville
we'll have
and
it
hang out. We,
all.
we can find each other
Yes.
then.
Absolutely. Wherever we are. New York next time you're here. We'll do it
That'll
too.
be
It'll
fun,
be
man.
great. And we'll have it all linked in the description as well. And make sure you're following Stories on Tape on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Josh Robinson on Facebook. I put all of my stuff, all of this there as well. So we'll have it all linked in the description. Chipper, this has been fantastic. I'm so thankful you reached out. This was great. And I can't wait to have you back to hear more of these crazy life stories you have.
Josh, man, thank you for your time, bud.